Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Petty Cash Podcast. I'm Joseph, your host today. On my right here, we have Dustin, Danny here. Right in front of him is Band-Aid Nose Vinny over here, our light ear.
You really gotta point that out.
They won't see it, but come on, dude, it's awesome.
It hurts.
It hurts. He got into a fight at a bar, or at Harkins. When the damn manager told him not to wear his Buzz Lightyear suit. He used his karate chop action on him. Stop that! And right here we have Paladin Charles right in front of me here.
I will smite you! For a second there, you were channeling Bonesaw.
Bonesaw! Oh, yeah! Bonesaw's ready!
3 minutes of beat time!
Playtime. Don't fuck that up, man. Alright. So things have been a little different lately. Yeah, we took some time off. We went to conventions. Danny and Vinny here attended Phoenix Fan Fusion, and Charles and we went to Star Wars Celebration at Anaheim. So, Danny, Vinny, please, first, tell us about how the experience at Fan Fusion.
Alright, well, after 3 long years of no Phoenix Fan Fusion, the last show was in 2019, it was nice to finally step back into the Phoenix Convention Center for Fan Fusion 2022. Yes. And this is actually Vinny's first year working it because I was able to hook him up with an interview, and you worked the merchandise booth this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this year I was working with one of the actors that were coming out this year. I was working with one. He literally, I think the week before, he was sworn in as a duke of a certain country. I forget which one. So Doug Jones was easily, I've worked the convention for 8 years at this point, easily the nicest guest I have or probably will ever work with.
I was witness to that.
And for people who don't know who Doug Jones is, I mean, he played Billy from Hocus Pocus. He was Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, the stand-in. Voice was Lawrence Fishburne. He was Ape Sapien from Hellboy. He was basically the creature from Shape of Water. And, of course, he was... What am I forgetting?
The Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, yeah, that guy. You don't even know
I don't remember his name. I don't watch the show.
It was also a lot of the costume creatures from the Labyrinth, I think.
Oh, no. Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth. Okay,
Pan's Labyrinth.
So I was close.
All right, but yeah, continue more, man.
So, the entire weekend I was just his assistant, helping out with making sure the line was controllable between the VIP and the general admission line, and of course the picture taker for anybody who bought a selfie with Doug. And by the end of the weekend, it was just so much fun, seeing how genuine and interactions with his fans were, and just how overall nice he was. He was never okay, yeah, come over here. No, every time he's oh, we got a picture together. All right, Danny, picture time. He was such a genuine nice guy. I hope he does more conventions in the near future, because if you have not met this man, do yourselves a favor and take time to meet him. He's such a brilliant and genuine person.
I agree to that because on my first day when I was getting done, I go over to Doug Jones' booth where Dana was working, and I was checking this out. Guys, my God, Doug Jones is the sweetest human being you'll ever witness in your life. After he got done, again, I was eyewitness to this, and I was just jaw-dropped when I was watching this. Doug Jones is over there, hugging Danny, thanking him, caressing his face, giving him a kiss on the forehead, and playing with his hair. And I was just what is happening right now? I've never seen a man be so sweet to his fans or to anyone he's worked with. My God, Doug Jones, you're the man.
Awkward. I really just want to say though, post COVID and all that, after getting back, really touchy-feely with all the guests and attendees there. So
I was surprised he was that like touch, like welcoming and like personal.
I'm glad he's not like most celebrities who have like just down to earth like bunny suit mask. I mean, just bunny suit, just face mask and everything. Just like peasant, peasant customers and all that.
Yeah.
So celebrities out there, why don't you be like Doug Jones and actually love your fans?
So tell us, since it's been so long since they've done Fan Fusion, how is like the layout? Was there anything different? Was it the same, or what was going on?
It was definitely different because so Phoenix Fan Fusion, for those of you who don't know, who probably have never attended Phoenix Comic Con, that's what we personally just call it. Phoenix Con usually is set up. The building we have, there's like a lower level, a main level, and a second story level. The lower level is usually just full of vendors up the wazoo. Like there's so much merch, so much artwork, you name it. Like it's really big. And then the main floor is pretty much where everybody gathers, where they go get food, or there's the exhibitor halls where they could just go and see like the meetings and play games and things like that. And people just go around and take photos and photography around the city of Phoenix, Arizona. The second floor is where they will usually keep like the celebrity guests, the costuming guests, the charity groups, and like some of the big groups like the 501st, just name a few, like
the Arizona Autobots.
Yeah, Arizona Autobots, Comicare,
Justice League of Arizona,
a couple of Ghostbuster groups here and there. And usually it's really, really big. But this year, because we didn't know what the attendee was going to be, so they shrunk it down to just the main floor and the lower floor. And the lower floor was where we had the costuming groups, the exhibitors, and the guests of our convention. And I think it did pretty good this year, Danny. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, like Saturday is always the busiest day for any sort of convention, and it just seemed packed this weekend, it was good to see. Like, hey, people will still want to come out and like go to the convention. That's awesome, especially like after a 3-year gap.
What was funny was everybody agreed there was just not enough time during this weekend because we only had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to go. Usually we have 4 days.
I mean, kind of. So how the convention used to run before before this year, we would always have the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. Thursday was always just like load-in day, preview day. Like, like some things you can like walk the exhibit hall, but like there's maybe 2 guests. Most exhibitors are there, and maybe there's a couple panels or parties. But Thursday was usually just like, we're ready, but like we're still like setting up a little bit. And Friday was usually the first real day. Yeah. But this year we just got rid of that and like, okay, Friday's the first real day, and we are ready to go. Like most people are here today.
Yeah, no, and everybody was just jumping at wanting to be here and just see each other, get pictures, hang out. And for me this year, it was just definitely different because I was more focused on working than being involved in any of the charity groups or just with people in general. Like, I wanted to see a lot of the people that I'm familiar with. But it was definitely a different tone, at least for me this year. And I can explain that in a little bit. But it was fun. I would definitely say it was worth coming back to. It was a lot of fun. It was great seeing a lot of good people. And I think that's probably the most important thing to focus on is that we really need to spend time with each other, regardless whether it's at the convention or out of the convention, because this doesn't last long.
And you usually, we've been friends for a while, you usually attend the convention. So what was your experience like working the convention for the first time?
That was actually a lot of fun for me because the stress of going... So I normally worked with charity groups, helping them set up and tear down and just worrying about, shifts, schedules, where everybody is at, because nobody can keep a tab on everybody. Here, it was because it was a job and I got to work with... volunteers who were working. It was a lot of fun. I got to help out at the booth, make sure everything was organized, tell people the deals, and because I'm really good at selling people on shit, because I've done it for Spirit Halloween for 4 years, I was able to get a couple of good sales in. Nice. So it was a fun experience. And getting paid, free pass, it was more worth it this way than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, this is my 8th year working the convention, minus the 2 years there were delays and cancellations. For me, I didn't start out as a assistant for the guests coming in. I started out as a assistant for one of the managers working the convention. And one of my favorite stories was like my first year working. It was 2014. And my manager was like, "Oh, let's go check up on Stan Lee's panel, rest in peace." Because it was one of the, like, he came like 2 or 3 times, but I think that was his first time coming. It's like, okay, let's go check on it and make sure everything's going okay. We take the elevator up, doors open, in walks Stan Lee after he just wrapped his panel, so we take it back down, and I'm trying to be like professional and like cool, level-headed. He walks out of the elevator, like, as soon as he gets like far enough away, I just like, oh my gosh! I was shared an elevator with a comic legend.
Like, that was your best moment, man? Not even meeting me?
We didn't meet until a year later.
A year, yeah, it was a year, 2015. Yeah, that was like back at the what was it? Kind of like the...
I think it was like the first like real meeting.
The orientation meeting. Yeah. That's when we met. Yeah, I mean, for anyone out there, I mean, definitely get a chance to like volunteer at, you know, the people. There's great folks. You can make new friends, or, you know, work with friends that are already in the system already. I mean, Phoenix Fan Future is one of those great volunteer moments. I used to volunteer with a couple friends. My older brother was definitely one of them. First year was like 2012 or 13, doing like the photo booth and all that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely, it's a great experience for those out there listening. Please, next year, once, you know, con's back up and running again, please volunteer.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And plus, like, you'll make a lot of great memories depending on, like, where you're going to be. You'll have so many different really cool and fun experiences. Like, Joe was working the photo booth. So maybe sometimes you'll be lucky and you'll be able to, like, drive or, like, escort some of the guests from their hotel rooms to the convention center. There's so many really fun and interesting jobs you can do during a convention.
But there are some cons to this. Literally a con to the con. What was like, not worst experience, but it's like, what's the worst jobs? What is the worst job you guys could ever imagine working at the con?
Okay,
I'm not sure on that.
Okay, right off the bat, because I think me out of the group of us, I work like one of the hard labor jobs, so I already know right off the bat, one of the hardest jobs working, at least at our convention here in Arizona, in 115-degree weather, is working outside. Yeah. Because you have to wear a uniform, be professional, all the while you got the beating sun of death on you. Just being a cosplayer alone, walking from the car lot to the convention and trying to get inside, you are drenched within 2 minutes. There is no shade. There is no salvation. It will continuously beat on you.
I mean, it's
wait, is there? Oh, sorry, David. Wait, hold on. Is there like jobs outside? Like,
yeah, there is. So, like, perfect example of this year how it was set up. There was weapon check, there was check-in, and then there was pass pickup outside on, I think it was 3rd Street, where you can do the main part of that. Now, granted, there is some shade. Like, you have like that main strip of street, you have like a bunch of trees shading a lot of stuff. I think they did put up like some big umbrellas and like tents and like fans and whatnot to keep everybody as cool as possible while we're outside. But thankfully, from what I saw and experienced, it didn't seem too bad. But I mean, it's Arizona. It was, I think that weekend it was like lower hundreds, higher 90s for that weekend. So it wasn't too bad.
We were a little bit lucky, but even then, like, we know Arizona best. Like, even if there was shade, it's still hot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, like, just us, we wear Ghostbuster uniform flight suits, and just wearing that with a proton pack on our back, you'd think, oh, no big deal, there's a lot of ventilation. We still sweat. It sucks.
So basically, just future reference, don't work outside. But also drink a lot of water.
Yes.
To all attendees, all the volunteers, all the event crews, whatever. Yes. Please drink a lot of water, hydrate, get away from the sun as much as you can. Yeah. So is there any other, I would say, jobs or, you know, things that you could think of that are kind of like, you know?
Honestly, it's hard to think of like jobs. I mean, yeah, being outside is a little harder, but even still, like photo booth, security, walking the floor, making sure all the exhibitors need everything. Like, there's not really a dull / boring job. There's always something to do, and there's always like some like a lot of cool stuff to see on the convention floor, especially if you're walking around.
So speaking of like, like tips and anything for those who are like interested in working at the con, like definitely, I mean, I like to start off. Please, for the love of God, show up to your shift. Like, yes, please. On time. Yes, stuff happens. You're either stuck in line or there's some, jerk of a security guard and all that's preventing you from coming in and all that, and you got a job and everything. Like, we get it. Like, maybe like, I don't know, the times you can be late, maybe like 5-10 minutes and all that, but at least, I mean, we're in the age of cell phones and all that, so please contact someone, text someone, hey, you're going to be a little late, but please, like, show up to your shift, show up on time at least. I mean, I'm kind of terrible with time sometimes, but if it's something like my name's on there, it's important. I mean, yeah, sure, definitely. What are some other tips out there that you guys think? I mean, not just volunteers for Phoenix Fan Fusion, but like probably
just attending,
cosplay groups and in general.
I mean, I think like especially here in Arizona, that's like the biggest thing. Like the biggest tip is just have a minimum of 3 water bottles on you. Just always stay hydrated. For like making sure you get there on time or get there early enough. For me, I always like especially if I'm working it, like whether I'm working it or I'm just like attending, I want to be there as early as possible. That isn't too ridiculously early. Like I would say being at the convention, like being at the doors ready to go, like, and like half an hour to an hour early, so that just in case like there's any problems with security, there's a long line already. Because Saturday, walking to my shift to like go into the convention center, the line was almost to like the back half of the convention center. There was a long line that morning. It's like, sweet, so many people want to come today. That's awesome. This one I experienced at Salt Lake FanX last year. It's a gamble nowadays whether or not vendors or actors will take card or cash. So I always feel like either buy your autographs beforehand so that you have it ready to go, or have cash ready to go. I mean, yeah, they have ATMs all around the convention center, but it's always better to be prepared in the case like, okay, I already have it, or okay, I have the cash just in case. I mean, yeah, a lot of them will have card readers or whatnot, but it's always good to be prepared for any scenario when it comes to monetary purchases.
So when it comes to convention experiences and all that stuff, the best advice I could give, because I've been doing this for about 10 years now, being a convention goer and exhibitor. For one, if you're going to cosplay, make sure you plan 6 months in advance. Like, you want to make sure that if you're going to be cosplaying this character and you know it's a big project, get it done early and get it done in time, because you know you're going to run into problems beforehand, and that's where you're going to stress out. There is no need to be stressing out over a stupid cosplay that, even as badly as you want it to be done, you want it to be done right. Mm-hmm. Second, make sure you plan ahead on days to have off. So like for me, when I was doing this, I always took Wednesday, so our convention would run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I would take Wednesday through Monday off. So that way Monday was my rest day. So I had enough time to just recharge, eat, just replenish, and rethink about everything that went on. And that's a day too to like go through your photos, post things, and just to recharge. And then always make sure that you're willing to work with the convention staff. Show them like, hey, I'm here as either a guest or as an exhibitor. I'm willing to work with you guys as long as you work with me. Do not try to start anything with the staff, because eventually you will have problems in the future.
And I also have a few tips as well. Know the limits of your cosplay, and also know the limits of yourself.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is you need to know how flexible, how maneuverable, how breathable your cosplay is, and things like that. Do you need a handler, i.e. somebody who can assist you with doors, getting through crowds, keeping an eye on like any, dangly bits or any things that are on your costume that may be fragile or sensitive or could be yanked off or whatever, so that way they can keep an eye on it. But also know your own limitations, because if your costume is, like maybe more plain clothes, then it's more breathable and you'll be comfortable. But if it's something that's like maybe pleather, leather, like a lot of foam with little like breathability, then you need to be careful, especially here in Arizona, because it can creep on you fast when you're like, oh yeah, I'm fine. You're about ready to pass out.
Yes.
It can creep on you super fast. I can speak from experience because I made the mistake one time of wearing my Judge Dredd cosplay. And for those of you that don't know, it is a lot of motorcycle leather and stuff like that. So there's very little like breathability in it. And if you're in like a cool building, it's perfect. If you're outside in the summer heat, you are dead. I was on the very cusp of passing out. Like I ended up making that mistake, and I learned never again to push myself like that. I was basically like at the 1 HP mark. Like I was close. But I learned my lesson, and learn from us. Don't push yourself. If you're gonna be out in the heat for a long while, have a friend or two help you. Like maybe bring the pieces with you, and then change in the convention center. Like find some corner and put all the armor on, so that way you don't run the risk of hurting yourself, because it's no fun. You don't want to be standing there excited to go into the convention and then waking up the next minute in a hospital. So yeah, definitely don't want that.
So you are not the law there. No, and going back, Vinny, what you just said about like taking time off and everything. Also, make sure your friends and family, whoever you work with, make sure you get your days off, your PTO before they do. That's another tip. Also, I would say a lasting tip as well. Please have a day to yourself. Normal clothes. Just enjoy the con as a regular attendee, as a regular geek, as a regular collector, and all that. Yeah, take your friends dressing up. That's cool. Unless you guys have something like group cosplay, that's awesome. But please, have that kind of a day to just kind of look around. Some people usually have it on, Sundays, where it's kind of like the rest day and everything. I mean, Saturdays are great because everyone's all energized. It's the weekend. But then, I would say, what would you guys think? Usually half the time, half the, shift or, with the con or anything, you just kind of want to be like, hey, I just want to get undressed and let me roam around the exhibit hall and all that for any, purchases or something like that on something that you caught your eye, whether it be action figure, pop, or poster, exclusive art, whatever.
Yeah.
You just go out, I got to get this thing quick, or else Sunday rolls up.
It's gone.
It's gone. Or, oh, crap, you forgot about it as soon as the clock hits 5 o'clock. And it's like, well, crap. Everyone's gone by 4, an hour and a half before it closes. Yeah, they're all packed up and ready. Yeah, so is there any more stories from Fan Fusion?
I wanted to do this last little bit. So for me, let's talk real quick, Vinny, about our fun experiences either with exhibitors or with the guests that were here this year. So for me, so let me take you all back to September of 2021. Me and my dad went to Salt Lake FanX. And the main reason I wanted to go was hey, sweet, a convention I've never been to, a state I've never been to. Salt Lake City is beautiful. The temperature was perfect in September. B, one of the announced guests was Christina V. Now, she's a prolific voice actress, voicing the main characters in Sailor Moon and Miraculous Ladybug. But for me, I know her as the English dub voice actress of Jet Jaguar from Godzilla Singular Point. So I went over there to go meet her. And I think, okay, this is her latest work. I'm going to find a really cool, Jet Jaguar 8x10 on her table. I get up there, nothing. She has Sailor Moon, Miraculous Ladybug, a couple other works, but she doesn't have any Singular Point stuff. So all I could get was a selfie with her, which was still cool. But getting a thing for myself as well as a friend of mine who knew I was going. I was like, hey, can you grab this for me? He was like, well, I couldn't, man. Sorry. So I gave him his money back. Now, they announced her again for Phoenix fans. It was like, yes, I have another shot. I'm like, okay, maybe an exhibitor will have like a print or an action figure, something that I can get signed for her. When I was able to like explore the exhibitor hall before and after my shift, I couldn't find any sort of print for either, like even the old like Showa era Jet Jaguar. Looking everywhere, no prints. Saturday rolls by, looking everywhere. Like I'll even start looking for a figure at this point. And one of the exhibitors that was there that were selling Godzilla figures, like, hey, do you have Jet Jaguar? It's like, oh, we have some back at the physical store, but we didn't bring any here. I'll bring some in tomorrow and come back. We only have a couple, so better get here early. It's like, okay, cool. So go through the rest of the convention hall. I'm looking. There's this one exhibitor. I didn't catch the name of them, but on like the black gated wall they have like where they're displaying some of their figures. They had one singular point Jaguar figure. It's like, I'll take that one. So I go off, I buy it, I go buy the autograph from the point of sale. The next day, I have my dad help me out to get her autograph. And when he was telling me this, it sounded like I was the only person to have something singular point signed by her, because when he brought her the figure, she started freaking out like, oh, this is so cool, because she didn't have any prints again for a singular point. So she signed like the back of Jet Jaguar. And my dad showed me the pictures of her signing, and he got a picture of her freaking out over the figure. I'm like, I must have been probably the only person to bring her something singular point. So I was able to give it to my buddy Matt last weekend. And I was like, yes, I succeeded. I got the mission done this time.
And funny thing is, as you walked out of her her site, she just pulls out this clipboard. The 107th person. Sucker. Vinny, do you have any more?
Yeah, I actually got a couple of fun experiences with, like, I had a lot of fun talking to a lot of good people there that year. But I actually pulled up a couple of the celebrity guests that I got to say hi to and talk to, and they were all amazing. First of all, Jim Cummings, the voice of Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Tasmanian Devil, Darkwing Duck. He was there. I unfortunately did not print a poster I wanted him to sign, so I just came over and I said hi to him, and I told him, I asked him, like, how are you doing? How are you enjoying the convention? He's like, oh yeah, I'm enjoying it pretty well. And you could tell the guy was tired, because this was like the end of the day. He was just ready to go home. So I was just like, hey man, I just want you to know, thank you for everything you've done. I got to meet Jodie Benson as Buzz Lightyear. Now, if you guys don't know, Jodie Benson is the voice of Ariel from Little Mermaid, Thumbelina, and she also voices Barbie from Toy Story 3. Her handler got a photo of me with her as Buzz, and I'm still waiting for that photo to post up on Instagram. So if anybody finds that, please send it my way. And then I got to meet, the artist who created a comic book issue called Patriotica. His name is Ron Zabala. Really nice guy. I met a couple other celebrities, the voice actress for Isabella Perfecta. But one of my favorite celebrity meetings was with the guy from Stranger Things Season 3. This is the Russian guy who played like the Terminator character. His name is Andrei Ivchenko, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, Ivchenko.
Ivchenko? Okay.
Yeah.
This guy was just sitting there by himself. He didn't have a line, and I felt bad because he was just the sweetest Russian man I have ever met. Like, this is the Terminator from Stranger Things. He's just like, hey, how you doing today? You look amazing. Oh my God. Like, we just started exchanging conversations from across the way because I didn't want to get into his line and like cut people off. So I'm just standing there talking to him, and he's just admiring my costume. And every time we're in the middle of a conversation, somebody's coming up and interrupting me for a photo. Him and his handler are laughing, going, "Oh my God, you got to get people to pay you for photos." I looked at him like, right? But he was just the coolest guy. Like, I unfortunately didn't walk away from this convention with a signature, but if I could have, I would have gotten his if I had known better. But suffice to say, I had a really great time getting a moment to talk to some of these celebrities and thanking them for all the work they've done, and just had a wonderful experience this year.
All right. Now that Phoenix Fan Fusion was now brought to light and everything, now Charles and I